Right here I'm standing next to Søren. We have met last year,
Yes,
and you've shown your big mark, and this time this is a really great collection. Tell us what is going on right here.
Actually, it's a time travel from the very first of Classic Space from 1979, and it was the first theme that I ever knew of. I was 3-4 years old back then, and I had some of those sets, and during the last 4 or 5 years I gained access to the rest of those. There were many sets that my parents couldn't afford or I never got. So I make the time lapse for about 20 years of history in space for Lego. So we have the Classic Space on this side all the way. That's about 85 sets. Some of those are quite common, some are very rare, some are even more rare that you don't even know they exist.
So did Lego by that time have sold the space plates separately, or have them been part in only sets? But you have most of them, I think.
Oh yeah, there was actually a combination, because a base like this one here in the 926, it came together with the crater plate.
Yes.
As well as the Galaxy Explorer landing pad creator plate. But as a service thing, you could buy extra base plates to enlarge your moon base. You can either get 2 crater plates, and you could get a T-junction or a landing pad together. And also they have smaller sets for where you can supply your minifig collection, so you can get more minifigs to the moon base as well. So they have some service packs back then.
I guess you have cleaned some white bricks, but also I guess these are new bricks, right? No, you're great.
Most of the sets, and maybe some of those are still dirty, yellowed or whatever, but most of the sets I have gained access to in like new condition. You can see even the printed parts. You can see still the moon logo. The minifig inside is in nice condition, and that's what it's all about, to get it in pristine condition still. So you have to be lucky once in a while to see, oh, this is brand new, I have to buy it anyway. But all the minifigs you have here in my collection, all the printed parts, everything I try to maintain as clean and nice as possible. All the minifigs here is like brand new. Some with a little wear during the year, especially the white ones, but yeah, I try to keep it as nice as possible.
Real collector, and we see here all the models which has been released over the years.
Yeah.
Right here we have, this is my birth year, 979, and it started in
1979 until 87, we had the Classic Space going on, and then the transformation went to Futuron on the other side. And the first time they actually experimented with color scheme for Futuron was in the Polaris base we have here. It's the same color scheme. And the funny thing is that it's not only a part of the transition to Futuron, but it's the only Classic Space set where you only have the same colored minifigs, only blue minifigs in one set. That's never seen before. Actually, it was when you have bigger sets, you have either red and yellow and black and blue combined.
And right here we'll find Benny. I mean, these are the kind of spaceships, or the spaceship, spaceship we've seen in the Lego movie. Kind of, the same color scheme.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, Benny's spaceship is in the new light bluish gray compared to the old gray. But the feeling is most likely that when you build neo-classic space like I do myself, I stick to blue, grey and trans yellow. Not so much white, because it's a bit odd actually. And white and grey is even more odd nowadays.
And right here we have something nobody cares about. Nobody's talking about the monorail.
No.
So if you would like, you can give it to me if you don't need it anymore.
I think I have a couple extra, but not for sale at the moment. But that was the first transition away from Classic Space, where they hit into new color schemes, new designs for the minifigs, and new functions. Classic Space was all about exploration. Now this is a bit the same, but also with individual kind of craft that can travel far away to do whatever they want to. But of course the monorail is the best example for how cool space was back in the days. I met the designer yesterday, he was here, Bjarne. Yeah, and it was quite funny to meet him in person and see how big impact he made on such a nostalgic kind of set.
Is it still working at the Lego Group, or is it too old now? I mean, this set has been released 87?
Yeah, 87, and it's... I know from some other people in Lego that the molding part from molding the rails is 6 feet under. So it will never be reproduced. It has to be some other design or function if they can ever consider it again. But so far we have to praise ourselves with those stuff.
Yeah, this is, of course, I think there will be no comeback of the monorail. But is the designer still at the Lego group?
No, he's doing some workshops once in a while, and he has been part of the first Lego Minecraft in QSO, together with Tim. And now he's lecturing in Aarhus University for graphic design and communication. But he has a great background history for getting job at Lego back in the days, because he actually went out of high school, applied for a summer job, and he sent this application to Lego, which back then were looking for model builders. And so he got a box of Lego and said, please build some kind of spaceship. He did that, he got the job.
That's amazing. This is the kind of story we would like to hear. Yeah. And then I have to say it's a little bit weird right here. What do you think of this whole Blacktron thing?
I think maybe if you consider after Futuron we have the first generation of Blacktron here, where they still use trans yellow, and the color scheme is still evil and bad, like they're supposed to be. The minifigs are very cool. They have this printed torsos where they look like soldiers actually, and the history goes by that when they did commercials for Blacktron 1, they could not show the minifigures without the visor was up, because if it was down, they were totally black. So they have to change some commercial stuff. Afterwards, we have the Space Police 1, which have to take care of the enemy. But after that one, we went into the trans neon green kind of stuff. And at some point it's cool, because it fits very well with red colors. Maybe the next one we have here, Blacktron 2, it's a little too much, because we have so many big windows and it's all trans neon. Almost everywhere you can see even the platforms, the base plates are trying to imitate that kind of color. So,
but I have to say the coolest thing, I mean I like many of this stuff, but the coolest thing here are the base plates.
Yeah, that's true. And sadly enough, they didn't make special base plates for each kind of theme. It was once in a while, Unitron could have used their own ones, Space Police 2. No environment to put them in, just you have to figure out to use the old base plates for classic space. And also this is a theme where you don't get any base. As well as Unitron, there was no base. You need a base to have a spaceship,
You always need a base, of course you need a base. And then we have here the Ice Planet.
Ice Planet 2002. And there are then they went still to trans neon orange instead. And it's kind of sore for the eye. But I think it looks cool to the contrast to having white and blue. It's supposed to be natural colors if you live on an ice planet, to kind of signify it. And those set, especially the base in the back here, and also the other bases, they have quite some playability stuff. You can move stuff around, just twisting a bit on a knot. Like you have the rocket launcher here. If you turn this, I have to use my left hand. It can go back,
okay.
And again. You can push it forward again, and it will move into the launching pad like this.
So this is the real Hoth planet.
yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be for playability back in those days. Nowadays it's a bit more different.
And then we have this one, and the monorail is back.
Yeah, this is Spurious, a little what can I say, in bad guys trying to control the robots and do kind of different kind. They didn't make many sets, 5 or 6 of those, and I think it was a theme that lasted 1 year, then was out again. The funny thing is that the base here, they actually made some inspirations from a James Bond movie, because inside this mountain here you have a rocket inside, and that's, James Bond used to do a lot in his movies. So they made some inspiration from him and his old movies.
And then we have here not the last set, but on the other side it's going on. So these are the last 2 space themes Lego has released before Star Wars.
No, there were some after UFO on the other side, but this is where I stopped as my collection. I was about 18 when UFO was, and that was when my dark moment started to fill my life. But here we have Unitron, and that's the next monorail. And the cool stuff about this, that the design is maybe not that great, but you get switcher tracks for the monorails, and those are kind of rare and expensive nowadays. The monorail, there were totally four sets. The monorail was only the only set released in Europe. The other 3 sets was only in US and Canada, and they have other set numbers as well. Yeah, you can see the design is maybe not so cool and nice, but the monorail is cool, especially because of the switcher tracks. There are some stuff, and you can see the spaceship here, that they actually try to, you have wedge bricks today that curves out into and they try to do something similar, just using slopes, stacking them in different directions, but they never designed a real wedge bricks until later, as we know now from Star Wars. Using the old wings that you used to have on old airplanes in city, but it still works, and yeah.
Thank you so much for showing us all your models here. Now, on the other side, where you choose the last 2 themes, go around. One last time around all the great stuff. Come on. So, how many years do you need to collect all of those? And is there any Lego set out there, or are there some sets missing?
I have all of those. There are one classic space that was never released, which is still only available in the Lego Vault they have down under in the office. But there was no name for it, and it looks like it was a supermodel scrapped together from other smaller sets.
And that is the end of our journey, the last 2 themes. What is the name right here?
This is Explorians, and of course they need to explore. That's the main reason, the main name. And they also are using magnets, and they have this tile with stickers on, where you actually can see if I can find one. There should be one somewhere. I will check here. A tile with a sticker on, and when you put them underneath either trans red or trans blue, they will switch into some other character. So it's like spying on somebody or whatever it could be like, finding out about the aliens. So the UFO was the last theme I tried to collect before I hit my dark age. And normally you will go with normal space figures, human beings, but this theme is aliens instead. Different kind of cool stuff. And the cool thing about the helmet is, if you take the helmet off, it's just a random face inside, but the helmet piece itself I used further on to create a predator. You see the helmet is like a predator. So if you take the crocodiles from Chima, the torso and legs, and put this on top, you have a predator. So I didn't bring it, but it was just fun to see that this kind of cool stuff can actually be used for something else that's kind of cool, like a predator.
Thank you so much for showing us your whole collection right here.
Welcome.
And you will be back next year here in Skaerbaek?
Something new, maybe a Morocco or something.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
See you around.
See you around, and thank you again.